Hi there, I'm Rachel Greig and welcome to our YouTube channel. In this video, I'd like to share with you our new stamps for our November 2022 release. So we've got a bunch of different stamps. We've got 4 different stamp sets. We've also got frame stamps, sentiment stamps, and some texture stamps, which I'll show you throughout the video, along with some creative samples showing you how they can be used. So to start with, I just want to show you our 4 new stamp sets. So we've got the Be Bold stamp set, which has got some really strong imagery here and some really inspiring sentiments. We've got the Sunflowers stamp set, which has got a large and a small sunflower, along with some really nice quotes and sentiments in that one as well. We've got the Mini Mark stamp set, which includes lots of different little marks that you can create your own backgrounds or textures. You can use them for gel printing. There's lots of different ways you can use that one. And then we've got the Ransom alphabet, which is a solid style alphabet set, which you can use to create your different sentiments and quotes for cards and art journals and any other project. So I'll just show you some creative samples using these stamp sets. So this Be Bold stamp set, it looks really great for cards and for art journals. So you can use these images here to create some real strong imagery for the covers of your journals, inside your journals, for cards if you want to send it to someone to inspire them and just give them a really good inspirational quote or anything like that. The Sunflowers stamp set includes 2 really nice sunflowers on here, which can be coloured in lots of different ways. So here's a beautiful card here by Michelle Morrison from Michelle's Cards and Stamps, and Michelle has coloured in the sunflower here using Copic markers, and you can just see how beautiful that looks just with the colouring with those yellow and orange tones. And Michelle's also used the smaller sunflower to stamp the background, along with some stamps from the gardening stamp sets, and then a sentiment there from the birthday sentiments as well. Here's another card here from Michelle, and this one's an interactive card. So you can see there she's used the large sunflower, again with the gardening stamp set as well, and then using the sentiment out of this stamp set. So you can see these are the sentiments here, and she's just used 2 of those there for this card, and then created that really fun interactive card. So when you open it up, it just pops open like that. And the fence, you can see the fence here from that gardening stamp set. And even the bird life, this little birdhouse here is from the bird life stamp set as well. So just really beautiful colouring, and it's really nice seeing how you can use the small sunflower with the large sunflower as well. So that's a gorgeous card. So here's another simple one here with the sunflower. If you didn't want to do any colouring, you just wanted to use it just with a single ink pad. So this one here, I've just used it just to create just a nice little background here for this card, and then laid it up with one of the new sentiment stamps. So with the Mini Mark stamp set, you can use it to create some really nice borders. And I'll just grab some inks here. I'll just show you how that can be done. So if I just grab an art journal, so this is just a journal, just one of the Dilution journals. I've already done some backgrounds on that one, and with the Mini Marks, now this stamp set is all complete, ready to go. So I'll just grab the one here that's from my collection here, and this one I've already cut up. So you'll see when you take off the stamps on the inside of our header cards here, it has a printout there of the stamps. So when you go to put your stamps back after you've finished using them, you can easily find the spot on where it is to go. So that's for all of these stamp sets that we've got in this release. They will all have that included. Okay, so I'm just using some archival ink, and I'm just going to show you how you can make just really quick texture marks or mini marks on your backgrounds here. So I'm just using the Rose Madder archival ink and just going around here. Now I'm just doing this rather quickly, but just showing you how quick these stamps can be used to create a really nice border for your art journals. I'll just put that one back. We will change it up. We'll do a few little dashes like this. I'll change some ink. This time round I'll go with the sunflower. Now the archival inks, there's tons of different colours which can be used in this way, which is really nice. It just gives you a bit of variety, so it doesn't matter what background inks your backgrounds are, or what colours your backgrounds are, there's usually an archival ink to match it with the stamping. So this one here, now I'm just doing sideways, but you can turn or rotate this stamp to go the other way. So I don't know if you can see, this is just really subtle here on that background with that sunflower ink colour. And then we will add a few little spirals. I'll just change that, and then I'll go with a bright Tangelo. I'm just trying to use ink colours that go with this background, or with the inks that we used to create the background. Okay, so I'm just doing this quickly, but you can see here, you get the idea of how easy it is to use these mini marks to add some fun little textures to your pages. And I'm just going kind of like around here like a border, but you can use it to create full backgrounds. You can use it for gel printing, like I said. You can use it for cards, journals, anything you like. So mini marks, it's a really fun set to use for that. Okay, I'll just pack away these inks, and then I'll show you some things with the Ransom alphabet. So the Ransom alphabet is a really fun stamp set to use to create your own sentiments, and you can use it in just with like black ink, but for this card here, this one, I'm actually creating a happy birthday card using lots of different archival inks. So I use those archival inks for the mini mark stamp set, and now I just want to create a nice simple card, but it's going to be nice and bright with all these different rainbow of colors. So I'm just using a different color for every single letter. So this will be a nice and bright and happy Ransom alphabet card. So it just shows you that you can use the different inks. Now, because I am using a different ink for every single letter, that's why I am taking off the letter and stamping these letters individually. So I'm putting it on the block and then taking off that letter, and then changing that letter to the different letter or the next letter, changing my ink pad, and then stamping it up to create my happy birthday sentiment. So what I'm stamping onto is just some white cardstock, just some plain matte white cardstock, which takes this archival ink really, really well. And then I'm not really like lining these up. That's the fun of this Ransom alphabet. It is meant to be a little bit different, like a little bit, you know, not lined up. That's what the Ransom alphabet is. It's just like a ransom note, basically. And so, and with these different colors, then that's how, you know, it's like I've cut these little bits out of a magazine, which is where the inspiration is for a Ransom alphabet, and it means you can use any color. So I mean, you could just use one or two colors for these. For this one, I just wanted to show you what it looked like using lots of different archival inks. And even just looking at this demonstration, you might see some ink colors that you may not have seen before, and it might really work with some of your projects. So it's just a really fun way to use up some different parts of your ink. And what I've done to finish off this card is I've just mounted it onto some pink cardstock, which is just matching one of those ink colors. So, I mean, for something like this, you could mount it onto some blue or some orange or purple or red. It doesn't really matter. That's the fun of this stamp set. And if you wanted to add some more decoration around this card, you could actually use the mini mark stamp set, and you could stamp some of those, especially if you did like these little circles here. If you wanted to do little circles, and then you could fill those in with some stickles or with some liquid pearls and let that dry, and then you'll have nice little raised bumps around your birthday card as well. So you can mix and match your stamp sets just depending on what you need for your project. Some other things you can do with the mini marks and the Ransom alphabet, you can make some really nice collage papers with the mini marks. So if you've done a bunch of gel printing, or if you've got some tissue lying around and you just want to create some patterns on that, you can do that to create some different collage papers. You can use this for the art journal pages just to add a few more textures to your background. So there's lots of different ways you can use that one. And some other ideas for the Ransom alphabet is to create titles for your art journal pages. So that creates some really bold titles. And the beauty about the Ransom alphabet is all of the edges of the Ransom alphabet are straight they're different angles, but the actual edge itself is straight. So if you want to trim out your different letters, if you're going to layer them up and adhere them to your projects, then that's really, really easy to do. And again, for this stamp set, when you purchase it, on the inside is the reverse image of the stamps. So when you go to stick them back in your case, it's easy to know where to put them back. So we've got 4 new sentiment stamps. We've got the engagement, we've got sweary affirmations, we've got reading, and we've got you matter. So with our sentiment stamps, you get a variety of different sentiments in the one strip, and you can either keep it as one complete strip, or you can trim out the stamps individually. But the thing that I like to do is I like to keep the stamp as one strip, and if I'd like to use the stamps individually, like if I would just want one sentiment, you can either mask off either side using a post-it note, or you can cut your sentiments and then trim them out later on just to have that single sentiment. And we've got some really nice sentiments on this one. And you're engaged, so happy for you, celebrating your love, terrific together, forever has a nice ring to it. So some of these, obviously, well, all of them are actually perfect for engagement, but some of these could be used for weddings or anniversaries as well. So that's why this one's, it's quite a versatile stamp. So because it's celebrating your love, obviously that could be used for anniversary, terrific together. Like there's all these sentiments that can be used for more than just engagement. So just bear that in mind when you're reading these sentiments. Like even though we've got you're engaged up the top, if you took that off and you did want to use it as an anniversary, then a lot of those would be working for that. So that's why they're really versatile. So here's a card here using that stamp. And for this one here, this one I've created here, and I just wanted to use the whole strip down the back there for the card. So that's just given it a really nice border. And I've just stamped that in watering can archival ink. And then on top I've got these roses, which is from the Roses photo stamp, and that's embossed. So you might see there on camera how it's just got a really nice like sheen raised part to it. And then what I've done is from the sentiment, so you can see here how that is the base or the last sentiment for the strip, and I've stamped that out just on some white and then highlighted that on the card. So you can see that you can use it as a single sentiment, or you can use it as an entire strip, or you can use it as both, just like I did for this card. So our next sentiment stamp, this is the sweary affirmations. Now, I do understand that this is not going to be everyone's taste or everyone's cup of tea, but I do also know that a lot of people really wanted this type of stamp and to just have a bit of a play on words. So what we have done is we've created a series of affirmations here. We have done a few little tweaks to the words just so it's not so in your face when you read it, but you do know what the words are saying. So we do have some little flowers and little asterisks here in the most controversial words, but it is still an affirmation stamp. So it is meant to be uplifting and kind of just give you that little bit of grunt, you know what I mean? Like you could say, keep that great stuff up, but sometimes you just need that little extra word, and you will know someone who would appreciate this type of sentiment. So I know that some of these have gone really, really well with the Be Bold stamp set. So this type of imagery, if you wanted to mix up this imagery here with the two strong ladies with this sentiment stamp, that works really, really well. And you might also have some other images. It works really, really great with our Elegant Ladies collage sheets, because it's just got that, the ladies are so sweet, and yet here we go, we've got a really kind of a strong words to put with it. So you can use a little bit of humour with these sweary affirmations as well. So this is just something different than we've done, and not only for cards, but this is really good for art journals as well. So if you want to use it to just give you some quotes to inspire yourself in the morning, to give you that motivation, that little kick you might need to get up and just realize that you are an awesome person. So this is why we've done this little affirmation stamp. So this next one here, this one is reading, and we've got some really nice reading related or book related stamps that we've done. We've got some like a book photo stamp, we've got the bookshelf border stamp, we've got the new library books stamp set, which was in our last release. And so this sentiment stamp can be used with all of those images. So it's got some really nice sentiments on here. Reading is my jam, eat, sleep and read. Between the pages of a book is a lovely place to be, and reading is always a good idea. So there's some really nice sentiments on that one. And just in this journal, I did a page here showing how you can use this sentiment stamp if you wanted to create like a book list in your journals. So if you wanted to write a book list of what you've read, or a book list of what you want to read, or what's on your current list to read, there's a variety of different ways you can use that. But I'm just showing you here how these sentiment stamps, they work really well in travelers' notebooks. So this here, this is the Delusions dialogue, and so this sentiment stamp fits these pages really nicely. So for this one here, I just used the bookshelf border stamp down the bottom, the torn text texture stamp, which is another one that pairs really well with this one, and then the coffee stain, which of course if you're having coffee and books, that's what works really well around that, and then some library books stamps. So the library card at the back there, a little stack of books, which is also from that library book stamp set. Now this is one of our new frame stamps, and I will talk about that in a moment, but I'll just show you that it just works really great for journal pages like this. And then lastly, we've got the You Matter sentiment stamp, and this one is a kind of like a softer version of the sweary affirmations. So, and this one is really good. So if somebody's going through a hard time and you just want to send them a card to give them a bit of a pick-me-up, and also for yourself. So if it's something that you want to do an art journal page of, and again, just remind yourself that you're brave, brilliant, and very resilient. You are amazing. You are courageous. Life is tough, but so are you. You are loved. There's no one like you. You have my support. So all of these, so like you are strong, let your light shine, that can be used for yourself and for other people. And then you've got, you have my support, which can be used if you want to send a supportive card to someone else. So these sentiments, they're always really popular because they can be used in a variety of different ways. And again, just showing you some different ways for this one, this sunflower card that I showed earlier. So if you don't have a space on your card to fit the full thing in, you can actually chop it up and do it like this. You can do a little bit on the left, a little bit on the right. You can use just single sentiments, so single sentiments on the sentiment stamp, and just trim them out again and put them on your cards. You can use them in different ways. You can stamp them in white or emboss them in white and put them on black cardstock. That creates some really strong sentiments. There's just a lot of different ways you can use the sentiments. So I've got a few samples here that I'm showing in the video. We will be sharing more on our blog, and you'll also see more samples on the actual product pages on our website. Okay, so that is the sentiment stamps. Now I want to show you our new frame stamps. So we've got 4 new frame stamps. We've got the clipboard, we've got note paper, snow globe, and envelope note. So the clipboard is a really fun one. It is a wooden clipboard here with a nice big large clip on it and an open space, which can act as a piece of paper, but it's also a nice open space for you to stamp into. So quote stamps, our quote stamps work really well inside the clipboard. You can also use it to stamp any of our other stamps in there. And again, like I showed you previously, it's this one here. I've stamped the clipboard just in some light brown ink, and then stamped book list. This is from our alphabet medley stamp set, and so you can use it there as a little notice board, or just like a nice little to-do list or something like that for your clipboard. So there's lots of different ways that can be used. Now, note paper, this is a fun stamp. So we've done it as a frame stamp because it's basically a frame for journal writing. So it can be used to journal into. So if you wanted to just stamp it onto a blank page, so for instance, if I wanted to stamp it onto here, you could just stamp it onto your journal page just using some black ink for something that dark. But if you've got something light like this, you could just stamp it with a lighter color. And the lines inside this note paper are 6 mil. So there's a 6 mil gap, which is a really nice size for journaling inside of. So that's why we did it for that size. So then you've got that option if you wanted to use that to journal into or to write to-do lists. You could just use each line for a to-do list. You could do gratitude journaling. There's so many different ways you can do that, but you can also use it to layer up on your cards. So if you want it to be just a little feature for your background for your cards, and just stamp it up and like ruffle up the edges if you want to, and then it just makes a really nice background for your cards. So the next one here is snow globe. So for this card here, this one here, Teresa's turned it into a shaker card. So she's actually stamped the snow globe and then created like a little open window and added some sequins behind it, which is really nice, and then stamped the Christmas reindeer to stamp on top. So this stamp would also look really great when used with the Merry Mail stamp set. You could stamp the little Santa inside there, the little trees, the little sleigh. There's lots of little snowflakes that could be used inside that one as well. So that's a really nice one. But it doesn't always have to be a Christmas. You might want to stamp summer scenes or anything else that you want for your snow globe, even though it is a snow globe, or we've called it snow globe. But it could be anything that it's used for, even just a glass dome. Really great for magical projects. So you want hocus pocus and spells and all those kind of magical things as well. It could also be used for that. So our last frame stamp here is envelope note, and this is a really interesting one because we've got an open envelope and then we've got note paper coming out. So that means that you can write all sorts of things or stamp all sorts of things inside that note. So some fun ones might be, "Dear Santa, I've been good," or, you know, "You're invited to our party," or just simple sentiments that can go inside. So I'll show you one here that I've created. So this one here I've done just as a Christmas card. So I've just stamped it over like a coloured background, and then I've stamped Christmas wishes. And that's from the Season's Greetings stamp set. Now all of those large sentiments from that stamp set will fit inside this envelope note. So that's a really good stamp set to use with this frame stamp. And then I've just added some little pine leaves just around the side. And then for the background, I have stamped up, now this is one of our oldest background stamps, our first background we ever created, and it's called Star. And I have embossed that using the new Lumberjack Plaid Distress Embossing Glaze. And it just gives you that really nice texture there for the back of your card. Just adding some book pages and then just adding the little envelope note on the front. So for anyone who loves, you know, letters or letter writing or into that kind of thing, this is a really fun stamp. It's also great to put inside your journals, like your daily journaling or your art journaling, and just have little sentiments or just write your own little quotes or words inside. Okay, so that is our frame stamps. Again, we'll have more samples on our website, so be sure to check that, and we will continue sharing samples on our blog. So next up, I just want to show you our new texture stamps. So this time around, we have released 8 new texture stamps. So we've got the snowflakes, abstract triangles, tribal, giraffe, cheetah, zebra, herringbone, and clocks. So the texture stamps are great for adding just that little bit of texture or little bit of design to your cards or projects. So you can use them for the backgrounds of your cards. Like for this one here, this one I've just used the zebra. So, and I've just stamped it in a couple of different ways. Now this background here, this was just a gel print, and this card's just really simple. It is just stamped a few times there with that stamp, just using archival jet black ink. Stamped one of the quotes here from the African stamp sets, and then a little bit of twine there, and then mounted that onto the card. So textures can be used just to create some nice little backgrounds. Again, just going with the little animal theme here. This one's using the giraffe texture stamp. So you can see there just how you can get those really nice effects. So this one here I've used Distress ink, and then just spritzed the stamp a little bit with water before I stamped onto this mixed media cardstock, and it just gives you that nice little look of basically what a giraffe would look like. So even though our header cards are in black, you can still think about what ink colours you can use for your projects. For the snowflakes, So this one here, I've just stamped it using some really nice light pink and blue colors here, just around these tags. So it's just a really nice way to add some extra detail to your tags. So the other thing you can do is just create some really nice backgrounds for your art journal pages or your cards. So for this art journal page, I've actually layered up quite a few different texture stamps. So I've got the clocks texture stamp because I thought it would go really well with this days count quote stamp. And I've also used the herringbone texture stamp and also the abstract triangles texture stamp. So I've just layered up a few of those just to show you how they can be used together, just to create some really nice backgrounds for your art journals or your cards. This art journal page could be the same as a card as well. For this card here from Heather Telford, she has used the clocks texture stamp to create this entire background. And for this one, she's stamped it using distress ink and then created like a watercolor stamping technique where she spritzed it with water, similar to how I did it with the giraffe texture stamp, just to create that real nice sort of blended look, and that creates a beautiful background. And even though we've got these animal texture stamps, you don't have to always use them for animal related projects. For this card here, Teresa has used it for a fun car card. So she's just got using the cheetah for the background. So then it's just adding that little wild element there for the sentiment that she has put on the card. So there's just a fun lot of ways that you can use the texture stamps. With the tribal texture stamp, it's a really fun one because these little strips here, you can actually use them, just little snippets of them. You don't have to use the entire thing, but you can create just little strips of texture, little strips of pattern that you can use behind your focal point on your cards or projects. And then again, you can also use it to create an entire background. All you need to do is just stamp it out a few times and it creates a lovely background. The other thing you can do with texture stamps is you can gel print with them because they're nice and small. They're really fun to gel print with, so you can just use them, especially this herringbone. That would look fabulous for gel printing. Sometimes like the abstract triangles would look fabulous as well. It just gives you that little resist that you want for your gel prints. So I hope this has given you some ideas on how you can use these new stamps. Now all of these stamps are available on our website, or you can ask for them at your favorite craft retailer. We do have a stockist page on our website where you can find a stockist located near you. And if you'd like to see more of the projects that we are going to be sharing using these new stamps, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and also our newsletter, where we will be sharing more projects and creative ideas using all of these stamps. I'll list all of the stamps shown in these samples in the YouTube description below, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thanks so much for watching.